Hello, my name is Newman. I'm here to give you a rundown of some of the activities you could put into Google Classroom. Welcome to TKAT, Professional Development. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comment section and I'll try and deal with them at the end if I can, or I can get back to you. Okay. Let's go on then. This is a TKAT demonstration classroom, so it doesn't have anywhere near as much stuff as we could have, or I'm used to having in my classroom. But first thing to say is that I have had about a month's experience with Google Classroom, and it's going very well. It's easy to use. Everything's quite integrated. The children are starting to use it more successfully. And I'm a Key Stage 1 teacher, a Year 1 teacher, with a lot of early years experience. So the way we use it in Year 1 is very different from Year 2 and Key Stage 2. And from early years, everyone tailors it in our school to the way they like to use it or what works best for their classroom. So let me get over to the right place. So here we are in the TKAT classroom, and the stream is where messages are usually put, though not everyone does it that way. This is broadcasting things that are happening, and I'll come to that in a moment. And classwork is usually where all the work and assignments happen for children to pick up the work that they're doing. So let me just go to stream first. So I say usually this is just for messages, but actually it can be used very successfully, and I'll go into this in more detail on another webinar, I think tomorrow, Thursday, about how you can use this. But you can have it as every time work comes up that you post into your classwork, it then automatically posts into the stream, and then effectively you've got almost like a blog, so that your the work that you want is coming up one thing after another, and it's happening as you want it. So early years have been quite clever for scheduling some of their work, so that each day they put a load of drafts in here, and each day a new story is read to the children, and that comes online and appears in this classroom. It appears on this stream, it's called, within the classroom. Now, I personally, in Year 1, have gone for a different route, which is the stream is just for telling people about new things, telling the children that we're thinking about them, and it's quite a cozy part of the Google Classroom. So let's see if we can actually share something. Or maybe I could, okay, let's get out of that for a moment. And I'll see if I can reuse something from a different classroom. This is brilliant. So I'm regularly magpieing ideas off Year 2 and early years and popping them straight into my my stream for my class. I have put one already in another demo classroom, but we'll see how we're doing. Okay, so here, when it does it, this is actually in real life. This has gone up this morning. We've created a brand new classroom for the children. It's just full of stories. There are a lot of stories read by a lot of teachers in my school. And so this is the announcement that's going on the front screen. So when they log in, this is what they'll see. Here down the bottom is a promotion video that we put together. So this I've just borrowed or taken from a completely different classroom, and I'm going to post it in. So it's really handy for that sort of thing. It's like cutting and pasting effectively. So there we have it. Now you've got it just like you want it, and that'll be the first thing they want to see, or they will see, I should say. So that's reuse. You'll learn to love that option. Okay, but let's go for something, just a demonstration. So what I want to show my class, I'm thinking all at this difficult time. A random comment, but certainly in early years and Year 1, we're doing a lot of personal, social, and emotional posts, shall I say. I'm not sure what can we add. Let's see what the options are. So if I wanted to add something from my Google Drive, again, it's seamlessly linked with Google Drive. So that is so handy, especially as so many files are in my personal Google that hangs off my Google Mail and all my other options, Google options. It's really, really straightforward. So you can pull something off there, or you could put in a link code so if there's something that you like that you've seen anywhere else, you just hover over it, right click and press link, and that gives you a code. And that means when you enter it in here, it goes straight to wherever it is. It's quite a neat little way of doing things. I never use YouTube, he says. Darkish. So, but this is, I clicked on the attach. Now, as you're learning Google, there's no such thing as attach. I can't quite get my head around it. It doesn't really matter. It's just a bit more seamless. Basically, you tell Google what file you want, and it doesn't really attach the file. It just knows where that file is. So I'm going to actually go into my own device here. And so that's actually in my device. I'm just showing you what some of the options there. So I'm not actually going to do any of that. Instead, I am going to just write a little message to post on the board, because we are really trying in my school for getting the kids to interact. So at the moment, I would say 3/4, this is year one. So higher up in the school, there's much better uptake. But in year one, we have over 3/4 of the children looking at Google Classroom regularly. I don't know if that's daily, but it's definitely more than once or twice a week. Okay, so what we're trying to do is get them to interact more and add comments, because we've got a lot of lurkers. So please leave a comment to tell us what you have been doing today. Normal things people still don't. Even if I wrote reply to this or add a comment, the children won't, and the parents are learning as well, so they're all feeling they just need to be pulled along. But if you've got something jaunty on there, that's quite a good way of getting a response. And please leave me a comment today. So that's what I'm going to put in there. I did have the option there of putting that in other classrooms as well. So I don't have to just post to mine. I could have posted to lots of different classrooms at the same time, which is really handy. So the one you saw previously with the story one, that was posted through every classroom in the school, in my normal school. Okay, so the children will see something like this when they log in with a comment section. If you really wanted to, you could switch the comment sections off for that classroom, which is how we started. But pretty soon we realized that that wasn't interactive enough. You don't want to just see a list of work. You want to be able to talk to your teacher. So I'm going to put something from me. That's it. I can't think of anything else to put. I'm still learning how to demonstrate. So, and any child can add to that. Certainly down in the lower half of the school, we want as many children to, well, in year one anyway, and early years, we want lots of people to add to that, and we're happy if parents do it for them. And you see their names coming up, because we want to get that interaction. Higher up the school, you might want to be a little bit more circumspect as to how many kids. You don't want it to be a chat room, effectively. So let's, just one other thing on here. It's easiest to put something together in a document, I find, and then attach it at this point. Or you could go up to, or you could do it on the hoof. So can you? No, that's something different. Okay, I'll show you that in a different place. Let's leave stream for now. Let's go up to classwork where the magic happens. Okay, so this is where usually the work will be posted in some sort of format that the children can understand and has some kind of structure. Do need to think a little bit about structure, because otherwise it can be a bit of a jumble. And certainly when within a live classroom, this is a demonstration classroom, within a live classroom, everything's very ordered within topics. So the children can clearly see what they need to do and when. In fact, I shall take you to my live classroom. We won't go in because obviously GDPR and that, but we will be able to see some of the structure that's involved. Okay, so there is no perfect way of doing it. This is how I do it, and and I'm the group year 1 leader, but we've come to a consensus and this works for us. So we've got a generalized grouping for the week for things that are foundation or PE or that sort of thing. We've got literacy. Remember this week, current week, there's not many days in it, bank holiday, and we've got a VE day as well, so this isn't as packed as it would usually be. We've got maths, and so you get starting to get the feel, and then we got previous weeks like this. Some people do this daily, we do it weekly, because you will find that you end up with a huge list if you're not careful, and certainly for year 1s that can just get too much. So we break it down into bits like that. As you can see, we've got a different headings. Those are called topics. So let's go back to the demonstration and let's create a heading. Okay, so I'm going to call it literacy, and usually you'd have a date. Now let's put a fictitious date, 10th of the 4th, 20. Or you could put your week, however you want to do it. Okay, so that's now created the topic header. This, if you didn't want to do it this way, you can do it other ways, like you can see below, someone's put garden birds there, and that'll be, or you could have geography, and you could have all the work within that. But this is just how we do it. So you've created your topic. Actually, let's see, I did create one earlier. Okay, I can actually just move this one in. It's nice. There's a nice drag and drop element to this. Let's move it down. So I've moved it into that topic. That was just a straightforward drag. And I'll show you how to create this yourself in a moment. And again, just understand this is a demonstration, so it would be a tiny bit more bells and whistles if we were sending out to the children. It's basically spelling pyramid activity. It's got an attached document that tells the children how to do it. A few words to say good luck, or maybe to give an explanation. And this is called an assignment, which means that it effectively sends this to each child, but in their own little workspace. So the children can have a go at it. They can upload their own bit of work just by taking a photograph or by doing it online in Google Docs. And then it's just contained around them. They've got an option for private comments, so they can have a chat with you in private. So it's not open to everyone to see. Or, of course, you can see class comments, and we're coming to have a look at that as well in a moment. Let's see if we can view assignment. This is in the demonstration classroom. So we've just got 4 pupils loaded in at the moment, and none of them have done the work yet. But you would see that, and you could tell how many is handed in, and then you could click on that and actually see what their work looks like, or if they haven't done any work. So I put one together, let's say over here. So here is a screen print of the work that somebody actually did. I don't know if we can make it a bit bigger so we can see it, but you get the gist. And then they wrote me a message to say I used the word chocolate for spelling, and then underneath I've given them a little bit of feedback. I don't know if we can see over here on the right hand side. Okay, I'm just going to nip back into the streaming software and see if I can take that banner off in case it's getting in the way. Okay. Right, back to our activity. Okay, there is lots of clever ways of marking and that side of things. I'm not terribly up to speed on that because I'm more of a year one, taking a year one angle on it, which is much more small bits of work with lots of support and positive words around it, as opposed to a marking schedule. All right, let's go back. Okay, so we've seen that spelling. Right, let's create some things. Okay. So we talked about topic, that's a heading. Reuse post, again, like before. I don't know, will I be able to see? I'm not sure quite what we could reuse, but yes. So I've put in another dummy classroom some work for us to reuse. So I've taken this from a different classroom and we can paste it in here as well if we want to. You get to edit it as much as you want, but it pulls across the basics and it pulls across the main file. Let's get that in there. Okay, if you don't change the topic header, it will create a brand new one for you. So I love reuse. It's very, very helpful. So we've done topic, reuse. The difference between these might not look much to the child that's receiving these, but it's the way that Google Classroom handles it. And I won't go into too much detail, but if you use material, basically you're just posting something up there for them to access, do what they want with, and then the most interaction you'll have with them is a comment if you're lucky. Okay. A question, I haven't used this before, but it looks, we'll explore it together. All right. I'll come back to that in a minute. Assignment is what we've already talked about. When you, let's put a test one in. Test assignment. How long take you to jump up and down, counting to 100. Very random, but just something for the demonstration. Okay. Could attach something if we wanted. I'm not going to. I think if we were trying to get engagement, I'd say something like send me a photo. But that's because I am trying to get more and more people to join in and engage with the classroom, which they are every week. But you maybe wouldn't do this necessarily if you were in a mainstream school doing mainstream lessons, but these are difficult times. Okay, so on the other side, we've got where do I want to post it? I can post it here or to a different classroom if I wanted to. We in year one and early years don't really bother too much about this. There's no points involved in this. That's more of a key stage 2 thing. It's not marked. Okay, we're not grading these things. There's no due date. We've been asked at the moment not to put due dates on there because it does put pressure on the children. They start seeing these things with due dates and we're under enough pressure already. Here's the topic, so we can select from the topics that we've seen. That's the topic that came across earlier. And we don't bother with that. So when this goes off, it's actually going to go to each individual child, and then they have the chance to add a comment, upload a picture, tell me how it went. Okay. And that was score test, wasn't it? Now we can see that there's no pictures uploaded or no comments uploaded, individual comments yet. Incidentally, when children do comment, a rather good feature about Google Classroom is it will email you, because you'll find you've got a lot of work with lots of opportunity to comment from lots of children, and it could get quite complicated, and you don't want to be going through all of this trying to find out who's commented and who hasn't. So when someone makes a comment, it emails you, and that's very easy to just reply quickly there and then. But then I don't get that many comments. So if I get 10 or 20 comments in a day, that's fairly standard. Higher up, there may be a lot more comments, in which case you have to think about it differently. But again, you just tailor it to what works for you. There's quite a lot of setting options. Okay. Done topic, reused material, which is just basic assignment, which goes to individuals. Oh, just before we go on to the next one, sorry to bounce around like this, but here, if somebody's going to, that's not what I want. If somebody has commented as generally on a class post, that's when you'll see it. So it'll be a little message here. That's not what I want to say. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, so let's say that they did a lot of jumping and they wanted to say yeah to their friends. That was great. I get a lot of this. Mike really liked this activity. You're getting a year one perspective, I'm afraid. But it changes dramatically depending on which year you're in, and that's a good thing that it's so tailorable. Okay, and let's have a look what that looks like. Don't want to go there. Okay, so within classwork, you can see now, what I was trying to show you is that you can see where the comments are. So I will get an email to tell me this has happened. You can see underneath that it's got one class comment. That'll show whoever's emailed and their name. Could be a student. You get a little something at the top there. So when you go down, you can see what comments have been made or which activities have got comments against them. And hold your breath. Let's go and see if I did get an email. Though to be honest, it's been misbehaving. So wouldn't surprise me if I don't. No, it's a shame. But that's where you'd see it in your Gmail account. But this one's been misbehaving. Not to worry. Take it from me, you do get your emails. Okay. Oh, while we're on emails, now I've got in my current class, my current setup in my live school, my real school, I have access to a lot of classrooms, and therefore I get a lot of emails every time people put activities up, and children give comments, and children comment on other people's work in other classrooms, and that can be a bit much. So what's rather good is you can, in the settings, you can actually tailor the emails that you get. So, do I want to receive email notifications every time somebody puts something in this classroom, or every time somebody, if I don't want to get any emails, really, then you could just switch the lot off at this point up here. Just touch it. No emails whatsoever. But that isn't really where the power of Google Classroom comes in. You just need to tailor it. Do I want comments on my posts? Yes, I do, because I need to know that I can reply. Classes that I teach. This doesn't apply to year one. This applies further up the school. This one, hidden here. I know we're kind of getting into intricacies, but this is what I love. You can switch classes on and off. So let's say that Academy 101 has nothing to do with me. That's my colleague, but I quite like to look at what work they've got and borrow bits, or they can borrow bits of mine. But I don't want to email about every single thing. And it's as straightforward as that. Right, let's get back to the main bit. Show you about quizzes and stuff like that. Oh, question. We're going to go for a question. You're going to share the journey with me. Right. So this is just like a pop quiz. Nothing too strenuous. You're not going into any great depth, though you could. Let's go for a quiz. We want the answer that they are going to give. Yeah. Or if it's going to be short, that's fine. If you have to kind of say what format you want your answer in. Mostly people would just be typing answers. But, if no, multiple choice. I'll let you explore that for yourselves. And a very early years type of question. Tell me about the weather could add a weather chart or something interesting there. So you could do multiplication, not multi-choice there. Okay, we're certainly not going to be marking it, so I always click it to unmarked. Everything else is empty. We'll leave. If we put no topic there, it just pops it straight back to the top. Let's ask that question and see what it looks like. No, there we go. Don't worry about this daily mission. Can I make it go away? Yeah, good. It's folded out of the way. So here's the quiz. That's what we're going at the moment. I sure hope you guys can actually hear me or see what I'm doing, because I can't. I can't actually see what you guys are saying at the moment. But I'll come back to you. So if you have asked questions, I'll look at those at the end. So the quiz. Click on this. We can see that we've handed them out. Nobody's replied yet. Without sounding evangelic, the power of Google Classroom is that it ties in with all of the other Google tools, like Google Forms, which is like a very clever spreadsheeting software, but you can't actually see the spreadsheet. It's all about quizzes. Or Google Documents, or Google Sheets, which is just an Excel in Google. If you click up here on this waffle, that's what the dot's called, the waffle, you see the sort of thing that's available. But all of this stuff is actually seamlessly linked into a lot of Google Classroom, so you don't even know you're using it. This is what it looks like. You click on, so we went in, we clicked on this. Oh, I'll just show you so it's easier. Okay, sorry to make going back again. Here we are, classwork. This is what it looks like. I want to see how they will view the question. And I want some answers as well. Here's what the question looks like when it goes to them. It's much cleaner. You haven't got all the other bits and bobs and other things that you're worrying about as a teacher creating it. You just get to see this nice clean sheet. Tell me about the weather today. I can't actually see. That's a shame. I can't actually enter the answers myself. That's just a comment section. But let's see what the children. See student answers. Can't see that yet. No. Usually when you click student answers, but because this is a, as I said, it's demonstration classroom, you'll get to see all your answers either spread out here, or in a neat little, you have the option of it putting it in a spreadsheet for you. So I'm going to look at something a little bit more, a little one that I prepared earlier. This is one we sent out right near the start of the lockdown to see how children were getting on and whether they were actually accessing the work, accessing Google Classroom. So unless children actually are doing the work, you can't really tell whether they've accessed Google Classroom, other than you can see that they've accessed it once. But unless they're doing work and you're picking that up, the only way to do it is pretty much to ring them and say, are you using Google Classroom? Which we do anyway, we ring children regularly. Okay. This is a more complicated quiz than that quiz question. This is the final activity. As you can see there, that's looking very neat and easy to use. When you set it up, it's actually surprisingly easy to set up. Once you've done one quiz, you can do any number of quizzes. You just got to hold your nerve, and it really isn't that hard. I'm not going to go into that now, but if you click on the edit button, then you can click on responses, and you've got all the children's responses as well. I'll just show you. If we want to add a new section, we just say oh, here it is. So we wanted to add another section, just copy it, and it copies it underneath. There we go. And this is just a test bit. And yes, no, add another option. Okay, let's go for maybe. You can get rid of them here. You can have checkboxes instead. You can have multiple choice or grids. You can have drop downs, so they can select. There's lots of options, and it might look like, oh wow, that's too many options, but actually when you get started, it's perfect. It's nice and simple. There's not too many and not too little. It's just about right. Quite the three bears. Better get rid of that because I don't want to mess that one up for other people. Okay, we're nearing the end now. I'm going to try and get across to see if people have made any comments or questions. Nothing I can see yet that needs answering. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll be doing more tomorrow, and good luck with Google Classroom. I was skeptical when I started, and after a month, I think it's brilliant. It's not the world's best, but it's amazing for what it does do. And I recommend you guys get up to speed with it too. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye-bye.